Hello and welcome to another in our ongoing series of group SFT tapping events to uplift all of humanity. This event is a re-recording of an event that we originally recorded on our New Year's Eve, but it failed for technical reasons, so we're re-recording it, just me and Jen in the studio. It's called Restoring Humanity's Life Force, and we are tapping to infuse into the DNA of the broader collective peace, life, and wholeness. I'm Marvin Schneider.
And I'm Jen Ward. Thank you, everybody, for watching us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching us. We don't have our regular studio guests with us because we are re-recording this for technical reasons. It was so funny, Jen. We were recording this originally on our New Year's Eve, which was December 30 in North America. Most of our audience is in North America for one reason or another. It's funny the way that that happens. But it was an absolute shit show. We had technical issues up the yin yang and there were interference. And the funny thing is that we were tapping into the fabric of humanity, peace, life, and wholeness. You'd think that these are things that, humanity would want to have infused in them. But my God, the technical issues and the shit show that went around, it was just fascinating.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me. People say they want healing and everything, and then if you put a little elbow grease in them, ask them to put a little elbow grease in it, they don't want to do the
Yeah,
work sometimes.
it almost felt like when we did this originally that the universe was against us. And it was like, I was actually wondering whether the broader collective wants peace at all. But
Well,
look, I don't know what the true answer to this is. But the thing is that we want peace, and there are people out there that do want peace. I know that there's a bunch of people that, for one reason or another, either couldn't give a shit or actively don't want it. But, there are those that do want it. So we need to do the work. That's the way it is.
well, I always think of it as dew collecting on a glass. Like on a hot day, you have a cold glass and all this dew collects on it. It's a reaction to the cold because of the contrast, right? So I think we get these pushback because of the contrast. Our work is so of integrity and higher vibratory rate that we just get this collection of nefarious energies like dew collecting on a glass.
Well, the thing is, actually, that's a pretty good analogy. But the thing is that the work that we're doing is so different to the work that anyone else is doing that it's like a lot of people look at it and go, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't. So they may not understand the energy thing, or they might just think it's just a little bit out there, um, a little bit weird, a little bit foo-foo. But the thing is that we are actually seeing a shift in the broader collective. And so we observe what's going on in the collective, particularly in North America or the US in particular, because it is a bit of a lightning rod for, higher consciousness. Not that I'm saying that America operates in higher consciousness. I don't think it does for the most part. But the thing is that it's important that America gets it. And so that's why we're doing a lot of this work and focusing a lot on and observing what's going on in America. And yes, we do need to enter the political fray because at the end of the day, Jen, unless we're going to sit on a mountaintop in a lotus position singing Kumbaya, the practical fact of the matter is that we do operate in the physical realms. And people that have a spiritual nature also need to operate in the spiritual realms. And so, you can either let the assholes run the world and ruin it for everyone, or you can get involved.
That's a great point, babies. And you know what I think is the difference between America and other countries? America was a compilation of people who had been just taken so much from their own countries that they came to America. And America was grounded on the intention of higher consciousness. Humans aren't perfect, they didn't get it right, but they did ground in the intention that all men are created equal, all men and women, that they have unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So we are actually holding America to that intention and perpetuating it into higher consciousness because that's what no one else is doing.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that. So, and I get the idea that there was an intention way back when. I'm guessing close to 250 years of higher consciousness, inalienable rights, freedoms, liberties, and all of those things. But boy, didn't it get hijacked along the way. And look, America has not had an easy historical ride of things, right? So, but the other interesting thing is that that hijacking that we talked about, from my sense of things, and I'm not a political historian by any sense of the imagination, but my sense is that those ideals, the intention, was always there, but the lived experience from my read of things was never there. But the interesting thing is that the extent of hijacking is escalating at the moment, and that's why we're working so hard, so furiously. We're doing these tapping events 3 days a week at the moment, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 5 p.m. New York time. That's a lot. Can I just say that? That's a lot of energy work going out there.
Yeah, well, I can see why things got derailed because higher consciousness, seeing things in higher consciousness like we do, there's a flexibility there. There's a overview and everything, and it affords everyone to have a seat at the table.
Hmm.
Now, having said that, then you have those assholes. It's just like those little kids, those little kids who are gonna don't touch that, so they're just gonna touch it and say, I'm touching it. So that's what like people who just want to like just get in there and just be seen and just take. So that's what they're doing. And it's hard to keep up that flexibility when you have all those people doing that to a system.
So I was watching a YouTube channel recently of I'm going to say late 30s, early 40s guy. He's a lefty, and he's commenting on the state of affairs in America and particularly what's going on in the extreme right end of the political spectrum. And what he was saying was that across human history, there has been a fairly constant proportion of sociopaths in the world. Right. And so, you go back, 100,000 years, in the caveman days, and there would have been a proportion of the population that were just ingrained sociopaths. And that proportion, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3, 5%, whatever that proportion is probably about the same proportion as we're experiencing today. What the difference is between then and now is that those sociopaths have a platform to get together. It's called social media, and it just amplifies, the negative aspects of it. And that's what we're dealing with. But the other thing is that, let's just say there are 3% of the population that are just, ingrained sociopaths. That what that means is that there are at least, I'm going to say 90% of the population that operate, well above the fray. I think there's definitely a proportion of the population that borders on being sociopathic, but they have some sense of decency and some sense of self-awareness that they simply know that it's not appropriate to voice their, hate and vitriol out there. So they just kind of hold it in a little bit. But that was an interesting perspective.
It really is an interesting perspective. I've always wondered if I was a sociopath, just because I grew up with some of the propensities for a sociopath, the abuse, lack of love, and whatever. But I prove it to myself every time. I think I hold the vibration of those sociopaths so I can be a badass in energy and match them and snuff them out. But yeah, I understand it, but I don't um, resonate with it.
You don't resonate that there is a proportion of the population that are ingrained sociopaths?
No, I could count like 10 of them on my one hand. I can see them. I don't resonate with being a sociopath
Ah,
because I cry
okay.
too easy. I can feel people's pain. I don't want to hurt anything. You see I'm
Hmm.
not. But
Now, before we get into the actual tapping event, I do want to share with the audience an experience that we had recently. And just as a backdrop to this story, those that are not living under a rock will be aware of the, oh, let's just call it a civil war that's going on in the MAGAverse between, you know, the OG MAGAs, and think about Steve Bannon, and I'm just going to mention Steve Bannon and Laura Loomer because they're kind of, uh, well, at least sort of, well, for one reason or another, influential representatives of the OG MAGAs. And then you got these tech bros like Elon Musk and what's his name, Peter Thiel and Vivek Ramaswamy and others. And so there's this kind of big thing going on now. But the funny thing is that Elon Musk, being a incredibly wealthy person that is abusing his position of wealth and power and putting himself into positions of power in the White House so that he can abuse it even further to his own personal gain at the expense of others. So, the Bannons of the world, they're kind of pushing back, and Elon just basically shut them off, Twitter or X, and shut down their platform. Okay. So you want to just say something about that for a second?
Well, the interesting thing about this is I didn't think Steve Bannon had any redeeming qualities at all until he started pushing back on Elon Musk, and I said, okay, that's he's meeting. He can match his energy of pushing him back, so maybe he does have a redeeming um, purpose. There's that. The other thing about Elon Musk, he came on my radar over 8 years ago, and everyone said he was a genius and stuff. I see him in energy as this real thin paper mache. He has no substance. If he didn't have his ability to convince and connive people into like doing what he did, he would be a wreck. If he wasn't Elon Musk and had the money, he would be teetering on, mental instability. And I think it's worse and worse now that he's trying to cajole a whole world into loving him, and they're not going to.
No, that's right. And the interesting thing is that um, the masks, walls, and armor and illusion of people like Elon Musk and Vivek and Peter Thiel and some of the other tech bros, including Jeff Bezos, who we're going to talk about in a second, and others, is starting to crumble. So even the OG MAGAs who were in the height of the election, they went to bed with these tech bros, these right? And they formed this unholy alliance to get Trump into office. And so now even the OG MAGAs are starting to see that that these tech bro folk are trying to use their power and wealth, even to subvert the perverse agenda of the OG maggers. Now, we've done a lot of tapping on Project 2025 and the perverse and hateful agenda of the OG maggers, right? So don't get me wrong, we are not in favor of the OG maggers. And we're talking about the Bannons and the Laura Lumens of the world. There are many others, but you said something interesting that as much as these are very, hateful people and just, despicable people in their own right, they are serving a particularly useful purpose at this point in time, which is to bring down the tech bros and bring down their abuse of power. What's important, though, is that once they succeed in that, and they will, we then need to make sure that those OG maggers don't become, the applauded heroes and
Right.
take humanity in the wrong direction.
Right. There's all that going on. I think that the tech bros, I think um, their Achilles heel is their egos. I mean, they want to be out there. They want to be known as the players and everything. Behind them, there's older gentlemen who've been doing that for years who don't want to be seen, like the Koch brothers, Leo Leonard, I believe his name is, who's pulling all the strings behind um, the scenes and
Hmm.
everything. Those ones who don't want to be seen need to be um, need to be stripped of their illusion and their
Hmm.
no their
100%. So I don't know the specifics of the Koch brothers and the machinations of those, but what I do know is that there is a shadowy group
Mhm.
of very powerful, influential people that meet behind closed doors in smoke-filled boardrooms and run secret agendas. And they need to be exposed because their secret agenda is to hijack and abuse power for their own enrichment, to the detriment of the broader collective. Now, that is just the complete antithesis of anything looking like universal empowerment, which is what we're moving towards.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just shift gears a little bit and get onto the specific story about Jeff Bezos,
Well,
and the experience that I had recently?
yeah, let me just mention one thing. There's a movement out there for like to join secret groups that are like really like enticing, like the Illuminati. There's a movement on social media to join the Illuminati and make money and stuff. Anything like that has lost the fiber of integrity of any secret group that might have been out there to uplift humanity. Nothing out there in a group forming setting is going to give you that that bolster into higher consciousness, integrity, sincerity. All those things matter. It's not about getting money and getting rich. That's a lowbrow attempt to wield people in so they can abuse them. Just so people know that.
All right. So onto the story. That was a bit of a backstory. So the main
Mm-hmm.
story, the main event of this story is that in Genuine Healing, we've just redesigned the website, and part of what we're doing is to engage with the people that are interested in what we're doing and sort of send out regular emails to update them on a lot of the content that we're putting up there so that they don't have to rely on social media to try and find us because basically social media is all compromised, and so the best way to engage with our audience is directly through email, a regular email thing. So to do that, you need an email sending service. And there are only a few reputable ones out there, but one of which is a service that Amazon set up about a decade and a bit ago, and it's called Amazon SES. It doesn't matter what the SES stands for, but the thing is that it's part of Amazon's cloud software as a service kind of thing, if that makes any sense to anyone that's out there. Now, and this is part of the digital monopoly, right? So the digital monopolies include the Amazons of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Googles, which is now called Alphabet. There's a few others, and these digital monopolies, what they do is they set up digital services, and create it in a way that's incredibly predatory, but they get people hooked on it like a drug. They become a monopoly and then they abuse their monopoly position. Those are the digital monopolies now, and these are the people that are behind the tech bros, right? That the OG magas are now starting to push back on. And good for them for pushing back on them because these tech bros and these digital monopolies are seriously dangerous in the broader scheme of things. And we've done a lot of tapping on you remember the tapping event that we did on the Four Horsemen, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse in the tapping event that we did, we named them as Donald, Elon, Zuckerberg, and Bezos. So
Mm-hmm.
they were four horsemen, but they're not the only horsemen that have the potential to be apocalyptic, either literally or figuratively you know, in their shenanigans and going on. So back to the story. So I was trying to set up this email sending capability for genuine healing so that we can connect with our audience, right? And so part of that, I was, trying to get into Amazon's email sending service, and you have to apply. And one of the reasons why you have to apply is because that they're trying to protect their service against, blatant spammers, right? Now everyone hates spam emails. I hate spam emails. Email marketing is, unless you opt in, is just, it's a nuisance, right? So there is a legitimate reason why you should apply and they should assess whether this is blatant spam And if it is, they shouldn't allow those spam emails to just go out, right? Anyway, so we applied. I had to basically write a full, 1,000 word essay application as to, what it is that we're going to send emails about and whatever. Anyway, the short story is that we were denied. They rejected our application and they rejected, and I want to read you the rejection email. Just give me 1 second so I get it up. Hello, Marvin. Thank you for providing us with additional information regarding your sending of emails. We are unable to grant your access at this time. And that's just, they basically decided they don't like us. So here's it. We reviewed your request and determined that your use of Amazon SES would have a negative impact on our service. We are denying this request to prevent other SES customers from experiencing interruptions in service. Now, that's complete bullshit. There is
Hmm.
nothing about what we legitimately want to use Amazon SES that would have a negative impact on their service. In other words, it's not spam, it's an opt-in email, and it would not interrupt other SES customers from, interruptions of service. It's 100% bullshit. So what's going on here is that they have reviewed our website, they reviewed our content. No doubt they saw the Apocalypse of the Four Horsemen video where we specifically called out Bezos and Amazon and their business practices. And they said, oop, we don't want Genuine Healing to use our services to, promote this kind of content because it is against our business interests. That's what's going on here. And this is a blatant abuse of power. And by the way, it's also illegal because it's discriminatory. There is no legitimate reason for denying the service. It is discriminatory because they don't like us. It is as just as discriminatory as denying a black person a right to, get a job, even if they're the most qualified person for that job. That's the parallels.
Right, and there's even a more blatant example of that. It's like Twitter. Elon Musk not allowing people to say what they want against him on Twitter, or they're denied, they're blocked. So it's like blatant right now. Before they used to be really subtle, and they'd have this persona of a good person, and once they start like denying people and belittling people and rejecting people, their persona is shown. And
Oh, 100%. And the parallels between our experience with Amazon SES and what Elon Musk is doing to shut down dissent of, the OG MAGAs, basically bagging Elon Musk on his own platform, Twitter, right? So
yeah.
he's shutting them down from Twitter so that their voice can't be heard is just blatant. And, we've always known that, these digital monopolies, and now again, we're talking about Facebook, we struggle against Google as well. We can't get, ranked on Google. It doesn't matter what we try, we cannot get ranked on Google. And my sense is that they've just decided that our content is just too affronting for them. It's against their business interests. And
Well,
so,
it is.
right.
I mean, it is. We trying to take down the. We're not trying to. Energetically, we're addressing them on a level that they can't handle because they may have all the money in the world, but energetically they're limited. There's an energy that you accrue when people worship you, and so that people are like celebrities look larger than life and whatever, but that's not real. Energetically, our vibration and where we are energetically is way above them, and we're knocking the stuffing out of them because they have very nefarious intentions for humanity, and they don't. Sociopaths don't think of human being as life as equal to theirs. They feel like, because I have personal experience with sociopaths think that the people around them are just bugs, just just illusions. They're not even real beings, just propped up for their experience. And I swear to God, these people at that level of consciousness really believe that everything out there is just an engram and not a reality, just like a
Well, yeah, so
projector.
it's a they're props and scenes in a play for their amusement.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're actually taking something that's a real metaphysical concept, like that's a concept of spirituality. It's like we're all that, and they're applying it to only themselves. Like they have this God complex, and it's like the rest of us. If we have any inkling of God complex, we go to a therapist and they beat it out of us. But what I think we should do is, and so the sociopaths are the only ones who keep the God complex. I think we all need to see ourselves as that high of consciousness, but also see it in everyone else. That's what they're missing. They think they're the only ones.
So look, there is a resolution to this. In one way, by the way, Bezos and Amazon did us a favor in denying this because it would actually be a bit problematic if genuine healing in its highest intentions then started using and relying on one of the Amazon services. So, so we've been locked out of that. But I do want to call out their motivation. The motivation is not for legitimate reasons of anti-spam protection. It is 100% discriminatory, and they simply don't like our message, and they are threatened by it, and they're trying to shut it down. Now, they're not going to because there is a resolve. We will use another service to do it, which is, 100% willing and happy to carry our messages to our audience. It's not that we're thrusting our message on 8 billion people. We're not. This is an opt-in thing. So we're only messaging out to those that are, drawn and attracted to the work that we do. So we do have a solution for it, and we are able to do it, thankfully. It's just going to cost us a ton of money to do it, right? And now, that's just the thing that we need to do. So if you want to support genuine healing and help us sort of carry this message to a broader, audience, jump onto the Genuine Healing website and find the support or donate button, and we'd love some support in this. So
Right.
anyway, there's that.
And we need to remind people that what we do. I mean, people think what we do is black magic. And it's like, no, the things that they're doing out there, the controlling, the re- repetition of lies, the the stroking of the ego, that's all black magic. The weaponized prayer is all black magic. What we are doing is we're leveling the playing field for others. We're stripping all the illusion off of these black magicians, basically what they are. And we're stripping the illusion off of them so people can get their empowerment back and do what with their freedom, what they want to do with their freedom. People should be free to live in joy, love, abundance, freedom, health, and wholeness instead of feeling afraid to speak their truth.
Mm. And you just mentioned that peace, life, and wholeness, which is what we're tapping on today, Jen.
Yeah, it's so so I've written these affirmations, these charged affirmations, and I'm going to feed them to you. You're going to say them 3 times will tap on the top of your head, a fourth time will tap on your chest, and a fifth time will tap in your abdomen. Now, everyone who's listening to this can do and follow along with us. Now, energetically, we're doing it as a synergy, as a collective, because there is no time and space. We are able to expand our energy to embrace you in doing this. And you are safe and protected in doing this. And hopefully you'll feel a lightness in doing this work. It does benefit the individual. You ready?
Let's get into it. Usually we'll have our regular studio guests come and join us, but because we are re-recording this, it's just going to be me and you, Jen. But tap along with us and actually do the tapping. Tap along with us, and and verbalize the affirmations as you do it.
Now, at the very base of it, you don't see people talking about peace, life, and wholeness with integrity and with a passion. These words are a vibration that we're infusing into the collective so that there's more space for these things to manifest in your own lives. That's the whole point. The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments.
The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of peace is immediately thwarted in all moments.
All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's peace are immediately eradicated in all moments.
So there's a spiritual law that you don't go into them versus us mode. If someone is like opposing you, what you do is raise your vibratory rate and allow them to have their way. What we're seeing happening now in American government is we're raising the vibration and getting out of the way for these two factions within the same nefarious side cannibalizing themselves. It's not the them versus us, it's the thems versus thems right now. And it's like it's really inspirational to watch that you can just step out of the way and just let them eat their own young.
Yeah, so let me just add some commentary to that. So, Jen, what you're talking about is the infighting going on within these two factions in the MAGAverse. So, the
Mhm.
OG MAGAs and the tech bros who basically are trying to hijack the MAGA agenda for their own nefarious purposes. And what you're just saying is that one of the best courses of action at this point in time for those of us that are in at the more progressive, inclusive end of the spectrum of humanity is just to sit back and allow that cannibalization to take place.
Yeah.
But I just want to say another thing is that there is a time and a place where you sit back and allow the natural destruction of the forces, cannibalizing themselves. And America does this in geopolitical things all the time. They just allow the, various Islamist factions to cannibalize themselves so that they don't have to get involved in direct action. So that's fine. And now is actually a good time to allow the MAGA forces to, self-destroy. But there are other times where you do need, for those people of good conscience and goodwill, those that want universal empowerment to actually get involved, either through, activism or even energetic activism, like participating in these tapping events.
Absolutely. And if people could just, if all they can do is step out of the apathy and stop agreeing that this world is a shit show and that there's no hope. Just you countering that agreement and saying, no, I don't agree. I think there's a place for peace and hold a space for integrity in your own life, truth, kindness. That's a way of being active as well. The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments.
The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of peace is immediately repaired in all moments.
Babies, isn't it funny how you're so articulate and I struggle for every noun and verb when I'm making a point? It's not that I don't know what I want to say, I just literally can't find the word right then.
Look, and I seriously admire those people that do have social media channels, YouTube channels, various other platforms that are seriously articulate, that they have a purpose-led agenda of integrity, and they're able to articulate it in language that the broader collective can understand. Now, I get the idea that, you operate in energy and often, find it difficult to then sort of connect and find the words. Uh, and my sense is that there are a group of people out there that understand that and don't judge you because you may come across as a bit goofy and whatever, but they
Babies.
understand that there is they understand that there is an underlying body of work that's going on here that no one else is doing. Can I just make that point? No one else is doing this. If we don't do it,
Well,
it's like good night and good luck.
well, I think there's a reason no one's doing it. Look at you called me goofy. My own husband called me goofy. But the thing is to grab the energy at the level that I do, and you be able to like lob it to you so you can help articulate it is the secret sauce. It's like people who do energy work at this level usually don't make it because it's too much work and yeah. Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Peace is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
So these statements, which are like just words to a lot of people, these are literal like weaponry. We're actually going into energy and doing these things. It's pretty profound. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments.
Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of peace in all moments.
So I have to explain something else too. Why we're seeing so many of these nefarious takers in politics right now. There's a spiritual law that you cannot, no one can take anything from you. You have to give it, right? So no one can take your soul. No one can take it. You have to relinquish it. And people do that through getting their ego stroked, whatever. But in in society, we agree to the laws of the land. We have agreed to the laws of the land. So what these power mongers are doing is slipping into politics where we have agreed to those laws of the land and use them to usurp us and take our essence because we agreed to the laws of the land. People need to understand that so they don't give their energy to these power mongers.
It's pretty fucked up, isn't it? That good, honest people of conscience agree to the laws of the land because that's what a society does. It can't function unless there is a level of agreement to adhere to the laws of the land. And then those that have a nefarious intention to abuse power against the ordinary citizenry then use that agreement as a weapon to then screw over the very people that agreed to those laws of the land. And a great example of this is the way that Donald uses and abuses the legal system because there is a broad-based agreement to operate within the legal construct, as flawed as it is. And Donald and others, Elon now, by the way, is starting to litigate and become the prime litigant out there as well. And they're just shutting down dissent and anything that is against their own selfish agenda. They're abusing the agreement to the laws of the land to usurp the broader citizenry. That is seriously messed up.
Right. So they're violating spiritual law on a egregious level. So what we're doing as spiritual beings is we're holding them accountable for violating spiritual law because they've bribed all the judges. They've bought their way into. Donald should not be in the position of being president against after trying to resurrect insurrection. So they're violating spiritual law of the yin yang. That's why they have to be held accountable in energy, because the laws aren't holding them accountable. That's why it's so important, people. Gosh. Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Peace is a schematic and the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Peace is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Peace is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
I remember before I met you, I was doing all this work on my own in America, trying to take Donald down and strip away Elon and stuff on my own. And then the adepts who I tune into told me I was going to marry an adept. And I thought it was lifetimes away, lifetimes away. And I thought it was the adept that I actually tune into. And then it was interesting because then you came on, you booked a session with me. So I got to meet you. And then inwardly, the first time I saw you inwardly, you were standing over these blueprints of humanity. And I couldn't get your attention. Nobody could get your attention. The stars were just out in the sky. You were in your own office, and you were just studying this blueprint and figuring something out. And so it's so interesting these years, later, 5 years later, you and I are doing this work together to manifest whatever you were studying over in those blueprints. How do I know the words fractal? I don't know these words, but I grabbed onto these words to do these taps. Anyways.
But it is actually interesting. I actually remember you telling me about that vision that you had of me sort of, I don't know, in some realm, just kind of poring over these blueprints and studying them. And it's interesting that we're doing taps about, infusing various attributes of higher consciousness into the blueprint of humanity and the blueprint of higher consciousness. So, when you wrote these taps, by the way, did you recall that engram or that vision that you had, or these
No,
words just came out and you only just now,
just now.
created that that connection? That's hilarious.
Two things I want to say about that. Last night when you were sleeping, we had the curtain open to our patio window in our bedroom, and I saw the stars, and it reminded me of that time I saw you looking over the blueprints with a star backdrop. So that was really interesting. And the other thing was, oh, I forgot. What were we talking about?
The blueprints of higher consciousness.
Oh, the other thing that I was just told right now, see, I seem goofy, but I'm not, is that when you were looking at the blueprints, that's what was frustrating you about those things. I see it now in you. You were looking, wait, there's no joy, there's no love, there's no integrity, there's no kindness. How can how can we build higher consciousness and bring humanity up if these things are not there? So that was your conundrum as you were looking over those blueprints.
It's a little bit off topic, but I hope people will engage with this video because the commentary is a little bit more expansive than usual. But can I just say, just on this whole topic of this blueprint, um, for the better part of my professional career, I've been focused on, uplifting the business and finance world into, you know, shifting a paradigm so that they actually serve society rather than become a succubus of society. And so one of the things that I realized is that it is going to be very difficult to transform the business and investment communities, which need so much transformation from the ground stock up. It is, very, very difficult to do that unless it is done in a seedbed of higher consciousness in the broader collective. And so these blueprints, what I was working on was the blueprints of a new business and investment paradigm. And the frustration that I had was that people are not engaging with the idea of business serving society and creating wealth in the process of doing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I'm not, none of those things. So we're creating wealth by serving society. As a business idea, that should be no shit Sherlock. But you think I could get any engagement on it? And the answer was I couldn't because I was trying to create this paradigm shift in a vacuum of higher, there was it was devoid of a feeding, flower beds
Mhm.
of higher consciousness. And so that's why we shifted my focus and your focus, our focus on the work of uplifting 8 billion people into higher consciousness. I hope at some point that the business and investment communities will come along and go, okay, now we need to lockstep into this, new higher consciousness collective, and we need to change the way that we operate. But we're not there yet.
Do you remember what the core issue was in doing that when I was trying to assist you way back when we were dating? Do you remember? So, people come, people are born with a vocation. They know what they love to do. They know how they want to live their purpose. They know how they want to operate and to serve humanity. What happened in Western society is it comes to a point where a person has to choose between their vocation and making money. So a lot of people lost their vocation to make money. Now, what needs to shift is everybody needs to be allowed and be valued to serve their vocation in whatever means. And some people, some of them, their vocation is business. I think of like a Mark Cuban. His vocation is business, and he has I got chills. He's got integrity in doing so. And so you want people in business that to be their vocation, so they can be as sacred in what they do as going a priest going and giving a sermon.
You mentioned Mark Cuban. Now, he's an American and I'm not an American. So until recently, I wasn't even aware of Mark Cuban, but I was familiar with the Shark Tank brand. And to be honest, I think Shark Tank as an idea is just offensive. But the interesting thing about Mark Cuban, if you're watching this, Mark, is he now seems to me to be a Latter-day Saint in using business for good purpose. But,
Yeah.
in the heyday when he was creating his billions and was, deeply ingrained in the whole Shark Tank thing, he was 100% operating in the whole dog eat dog old paradigm of, make as much money as possible and screwing over anyone and anything along the way if they get in the way. So, Mark Cuban, if you're watching this, give me a call because I tell you what, his vocation really ought to be getting on board with the kind of stuff that I've been working on for the last, 1.5, 2 decades. So, and that's the thing. As much as I admire Bill Gates and various other philanthropists who, in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, after having accumulated, you know, 50, 60, $100 billion of wealth in pretty ugly ways, they then become latter-day philanthropists. That's great, but what I want to see is a underlying business paradigm where wealth creation comes through the process of serving society, not accumulate a shitload of wealth and then work out how I can use that to make myself feel good and look good through philanthropy.
Okay, so in defense of Mark Cuban, maybe he played the game up until now to get to the point of being in a position to take on some of these issues. And by the way, Mark Cuban would be the first one to reject what I do because he thinks, and I kind of agree with him, he thinks that all the stuff about energy, like tarot reading and healing, is all, all to take. What we're doing is we're educating all individuals and how to perceive an energy, how to be intuitive, how to be their own clairvoyant, whatever, so they don't have to go and be taken for a ride. But there's charlatans in business and in spiritual realms, babies. You know how hard it is for me to have a conversation? It's really difficult. And then I have to be aware, like when I'm losing your attention and I know I'm goofing up and I know it's obnoxious to listen to me. It's really humiliating on so many levels. All of humanity immediately awakens in peace and higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity immediately awakens in peace in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in peace in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in peace in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in peace in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in peace in higher consciousness in all moments.
The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments.
The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of engagement is immediately eradicated in all moments.
So if people don't engage, what they do is they opt out, which creates this void or this apathy, which is very hard to deal with energetically. This apathy is just very heavy energy. And when they opt out, what they're basically doing is giving their proxy to these power mongers to do with what they will. So energetically, what we're doing is taking away their proxies of all 8 billion individuals to these power mongers and giving it back to the individuals. The problem is with these individuals keep giving it back to the power mongers. So we have to do it over and over again with different topics so it sticks with the individuals until they can own it and feel their own empowerment a little bit.
So we just did about half a dozen or thereabouts taps on peace, and now we're shifting gears towards engagement. So if you want peace, you better engage in the peace process. And what that means is a degree of activism or activity. And so you can't sit passively, in the lotus position on a mountain, studying your navel. You actually need to engage. And that's what we're doing these next series of taps on.
But do you understand that spiritual people have been taught to opt out? Let go and let God. Meaning, that's great for the individual at one point, but not as a mainstay. You can't let go, or thy will be done. Thy will be done. That's written to the poor so they won't go against the kings who were considered God on earth. Thy will be done.
Yeah, screw that.
Screw it. All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode engagement are immediately eradicated in all moments.
Anyone who's shy, anyone who's quiet, anyone who's afraid to speak up, what happens when I meet them is I'm flooded with all these engrams of past lives where they were tortured, taken away, starved, humiliated, propped up as an example. And so they're terrified they have to get through those engrams. And what I can do in energy, because I've stretched my propensity to do this, is I can dissipate those engrams, not just for one, but for the multitudes. The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of engagement is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
A shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson that I know this phrase for the next tap. The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments.
The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of engagement is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments.
Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Engagement is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Engagement is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of engagement are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent in engagement awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
We're going to do some taps on the life force now. A lot of people are surviving on a fraction of the life force that they're capable of. And one of the main ways they give their life force away is by looking outwardly to others to fulfill them, when you should be drawn from within, right? The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments.
The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of life force is immediately thwarted in all moments.
A main reason a person gives up their life force is because their ego is stroked. So, and that happens on an individual level every single day. And people understand what energy vampires are. What they don't understand is these power mongers are now energy vampires in a realm all outside of what they understand. Because what they're doing is they're stroking the ego of a group of people. Oh, we're the best. Elon's putting this out there that he's the king of this alien race that's come to Earth to like save humanity. So he's stroking their ego, so they just give it all up for him. So what's happening is that the collective ego is being stroked, so society gives up its sovereignty. This is what we have to stop. All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's life force are immediately eradicated in all moments.
Now, Donald is the biggest energy vampire on the planet. He's been sucking dry the court system, and what happens is whenever there's a celebrity or something that's bigger than him, he'll insert his outrageousness to veer the attention away from them and put it on him. He almost took out football, our pastime, when he complained about Kaepernick bending the knee. And so this wonderful, amazing, talented quarterback was ran out of football because of this asshole energy vampire. And it's so frustrating that he will never get that time back as a talented quarterback just because of this asshole energy vampire. People should be outraged. I don't know why they have such a short memory. The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments.
The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of life force is immediately repaired in all moments.
You know what Donald is like? He's like this big, ugly spider. And then he gets someone who is helping him, and then he dangles them like a fly in his web. And then he just dangles them there, makes them suffer. Am I gonna drain you, or am I gonna allow you to live? And that's what he's been doing. Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Life force is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments.
Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing its life force in all moments.
Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Life force is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately amplifies its life force in higher consciousness in all moments.
The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments.
The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of fortitude is immediately eradicated in all moments.
All engrams of muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All engrams and muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode fortitude are immediately eradicated in all moments.
Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. Fortitude is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments.
The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of fortitude is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. Jen, you remember how you previously did a shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson and giving you the, I don't know, the language on the genome sequencing of fortitude? I think he's not a geneticist, he's a physicist. I think he gave you the language for the next step, which is the integral fractal in the continuum of humanity. I think that's the one that you were probably referring to.
Well, actually, I was researching a client one day, and we were researching an interview he did with a geneticist. And I forget the
Okay.
geneticist's name, but he wrote something. But it was, I find it really easy to to take in what Neil deGrasse Tyson says in a way that I can understand it, because I don't understand. When you're talking with your people, I don't understand the words, they just don't get in. But Neil deGrasse Tyson has a gift of getting it in.
Baby,
So,
are you saying that my communication style doesn't penetrate the impenetrable walls of your energy protection system?
babies, as much as I try, I get it in energy, babies, as much as I can. Otherwise, you don't penetrate for me.
Babies, keep an eye here, babies.
Babies, stop. Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Fortitude is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Fortitude is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of fortitude are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those with fortitude awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments.
The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments. The loss of wholeness is immediately thwarted in all moments.
Babies, if people could see humans like I could in energy, they would see how many of them are just functioning on fumes or with so many aspects of themselves missing. It's so frustrating because it's so easy for me to help them get those things back. So it's so frustrating for me to see how people struggle.
Quick shout out, get a private session to get your life force and wholeness and peace back into balance. And one of the other things that's kind of struck me a little bit is that the energy healing work that you do is so profound. It one of the best investments that you, the listener, can do and make in your life is to commit and enter into an extended program of healing with you. And we do have extended healing packages that we're offering, so jump onto the Genuine Healing website under purchases and find the extended healing packages. It's just a great way for you to commit to an ongoing, an extended period of time where you regularly have private healing sessions with Eugen, and you work on an array and a multitude of facets that bring the client into the flow and alignment and remove all blockages so they can live their life of joy, passion, and purpose in joy, love, abundance, freedom, health, success. I don't know why everyone doesn't do that.
Well, I kind of do know why. Are you familiar with Andrew Weiss? I think Weissman, Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he interviews people who have crossed over in between lifetimes. They had the experiences of learning. So the only thing I can compare one of my sessions for is that time people spend between lifetimes to upgrade and educate themselves so they can come back and move on at a better level. And that's why my private sessions are so all encompassing because everyone needs something different. It's so profound.
So let me put a little bit of context to that. I think this Weissman that you're talking about is one of the dudes. I don't think he was the pioneer of it, but he was a fairly significant practitioner in between life reviews or hypnosis to bring people into their life between life reviews. And so you've likened a lot of your private sessions in having a lived experience of a between life review without having to cross over, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how profound is that? So you can learn the between life review lessons without having to cross over and engage in the buggerance of reincarnating and going through all of the bullshit of birth, the family, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
adolescence. I mean, what an, so if you can have all of those, thousands of between lifetime reviews in a series of private sessions in one of your healing packages in this lifetime. I mean, how profound is that? And can I just say another thing? I'm not an expert on this, but as I understand it, pretty much when people cross over, they spend an amount of time on the astral plane. A lot of the Christians confuse that with this notion of heaven. Whatever floats your boat, good on you. I'm not going to sort of bash your notions of heaven, but they spend an amount of linear time, to the extent that there is linear time, in the astral realm, outside in energy, outside of a corporeal body, for the purpose of reconnecting back into source and having these between life reviews to set the conditions for the next experience in incarnation for the purposes of expanding universal consciousness. So the purpose of you having this between life review to set the conditions for your next incarnation is to give you the next opportunity to expand universal consciousness. And if you can do
Yeah.
that while still being in a corporeal
Mm-hmm.
form, how cool is that? Two thumbs up.
Yeah, and you know, for the people who've done a lot of private sessions with me, they have set the conditions and changed the conditions not only for themselves, but their children and those around them. Now, I think a reason why people are afraid of my sessions is because it is one of those in between life reviews. And here's the thing: a lot of individuals, when they've crossed over, they have engrams of not crossing over because of terror or whatever or lack. They stayed with the physical body. So they are terrified of that happening again, and they're terrified of that engram. The best way to get over that is to move through it. Lots of individuals have spent a stint as a ghost, so they're afraid of that experience. But it's best to just move through it, and to have someone there holding your hand to do it. It's really good.
So, look, while we're on the topic, and I know that this is a fairly long session, fairly expansive conversation, but I think it's pretty profound. So, here's the thing. When you realize, well, whether you realize it or not, everyone on the planet and any other planet for that matter has had many thousand. You're an eternal soul. This ain't your first rodeo, right? So you've had many hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives, and I'll guarantee you that everyone on the planet alive today, just talking about Earth, 8 billion, have had at least any number of life experiences where they've done truly horrendous things. So one of the interesting things about that is that a lot of people I sense are kind of shit scared of facing their maker in a sense. Now, the maker isn't your concept of God, right? So let's just get over that. The maker is yourself, and
Hmm.
the ethereal form of all that is source, all the atoms of source. And so, but I'll tell you, one of the most healing things is exoneration. And we did a private session with one of our regulars recently, where a bunch of people were on the Zoom call with us, where she was dealing with the idea of being exonerated for being intricately involved in the creation of a lot of these religion myths that, now, a good chunk of 8 billion people are, enslaved into worship. And it was a profound, profound session. But the level of exoneration is the liberating thing. And if you can get exonerated in this life, and you're not getting exonerated from God, you're getting exonerated from yourself because you are God.
Yeah.
That is because why would you want to go through another 1,000 lifetimes to play out that level of exoneration when you can do it in a series of private sessions in this lifetime?
So, whatever it is, fear, regret, shame, people are afraid of being called out and to have to like look at what they did. Who cares? It's a schoolhouse. We're here to do these things. Everything that you're afraid of, regret, or ashamed of, on the other side of that is simply the love. So you're cock blocking your own love. So that's what a private session is about, getting back to your loving yourself. All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All factions disrupting humanity's wholeness are immediately eradicated in all moments.
The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments.
The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments. The integral structure of the blueprint of wholeness is immediately repaired in all moments.
Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments. Wholeness is redistributed back into the integral fiber of humanity in all moments.
Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments.
Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments. Humanity is protected from relinquishing or opting out of wholeness in all moments.
Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is an integral fractal of higher consciousness in all moments.
Wholeness is a schematic and the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Wholeness is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Wholeness is a schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity immediately awakens in wholeness in higher consciousness in all moments.
The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments.
The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments. The desecration of expansiveness is immediately eradicated in all moments.
Babies, can I tell you my pet peeve? What for people who meditate? They're taught to visualize, and I did this for a while. Visualize the energy coming in the top of your head, going through your chakras, down the root of your feet, which is fine. But energy is not linear. So it's not like the energy is just coming in the top of your head. You're being blasted all over. It's like instead of energy, even if you want to focus on your crown chakra, imagine energy blasting it on all sides and infusing it. And everything that's not whole being pushed out. Do that to all your chakras until your whole energy system is a starburst. You're not this linear corporal thing. That's my pet peeve. All engrams of muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments.
All engrams and muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments. All engrams and muscle memory that erode expansiveness are immediately eradicated in all moments.
The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments. The fabric of expansiveness is immediately healed, repaired, and reinstated in the collective in all moments.
The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments.
The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments. The genome sequencing of expansiveness is immediately infused in the DNA of humanity in all moments.
Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments. Expansiveness is an integral fractal in the continuum of humanity in all moments.
Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments. Expansiveness is a vital schematic in the blueprint of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments. All those incapable of expansiveness are opted out of higher consciousness in all moments.
All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments. All those who are diligent with expansiveness awaken into higher consciousness in all moments.
Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments.
Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. Humanity is centered and empowered in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments.
All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments. All of humanity resonates, emanates, and is interconnected with all life in the peace, engagement, life force, fortitude, wholeness, and expansiveness of higher consciousness in all moments.
Excellent. Take a deep breath.
Thank you, babies. Good
Thank you,
tapping
babies.
session.
That was really good. And if it felt difficult, that's moving through energy. You're literally moving through energy. It's not just words. It's not just going through the motions. Things are shifting with this work.
So, call to action. Find us on YouTube or find us on the Genuine Healing website, even better, if you want to get our content ad-free in high definition. And regularly find what we're doing. I mean, we put up content multiple times a week. So that's the first thing. Find our content and engage with it. Don't channel hop on it. And secondly, share it so that others can find us. Because the practical reality, Jen, is that on social media, the algorithms just don't suit the
No.
messaging and content that we're putting out. And so the best way to spread the messaging, the peace, life, wholeness, and empowerment is through your active participation. So you need to take the role and share it amongst those that you know that will appreciate your own empowerment, universal empowerment, world peace. Let's just start there.
Yeah, it's easy to blow us off and say, oh, she's just a quackpot and he's indulging her. But, just look at the body of work on our website. Marvin's not one to suffer fools easily. If there wasn't something here, Marvin wouldn't be here. And so look at the people who've been helped, look at the private sessions, and then get over your own skepticism. So, because once you get it, once you understand what's offered here for you, you'll want it for everyone around you, and you'll want it for the world.
And Mark Cuban, when you watch this and you hear about us, even if it is in energy, give me a call. There's a lot of work to be done in upgrading the business and investment community paradigm to wealth creation by serving society. They're not just platitudinal words. I've spent about a couple of decades working out actually how to do this. I actually know how to do this, but I do need people with resource and influence to help. So give me a call, find out how to get in contact with us. You're a smart guy. I'm sure you'll know how to find us. Take the initiative, and
Well,
let's start doing the work.
well, Mark, it'll be a miracle if you can see the benefits to what I do and how it's not hoodwinking people but empowering them. So that would be the first miracle for humanity is you seeing the benefits of this work.
Hmm. All right. Thanks, Jane. Thanks for everyone that is watching this at home. We didn't have our regular studio guests with us because we're re-recording this after a few little technical issues, but I'm glad we got it out. So thanks. Stay tuned. We do this Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 5 p.m. New York time is our group tapping events. And then we're starting up our New Year program of group healing events. But we're only going to run the group healing events if we get people to sign up for them. So, there's they're limited to 20 people per group healing event. And it's just a great way to regularly participate in your own healing in a supportive group environment. So regularly sign up for those. Just jump onto the Genuine Healing website. You'll find out how to sign up for them. It's a very doable thing. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to catching you next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.